footsteps of Jesus, retracing the steps of his journey from Nazareth to the Sea of Galilee. This is the Gospel Trail, connecting the most important sites of the life of Christ and just recently launched by the Israeli Ministry of Tourism. The path that pilgrims and tourists can choose to walk, bike or even ride on horseback is first and foremost an opportunity to discover the New Testament anew, explains Don Carlo Rotta from the Diocese of Albano.
I think the path they made is very interesting, because when we pilgrims come to Israel, we are listening to the fifth gospel. The fifth gospel is listening to the geography, to the lake, the water, the stones, the landscape, because everything here speaks of Jesus Christ.
The path starts from Nazareth, where Jesus spent his childhood and adolescence, passing through Magdala, the town of Mary Magdalene, along the shores of the Sea of Galilee, and until Capernaum. Here the Gospels tell us Jesus made his home, turning the city of fishermen into the center of his ministry. Capernaum, where Christ performed many miracles, is reached via the Mount of Beatitudes, the site of the famous Sermon on the Mount, one of the most remarkable moments of his life. It is an intensely spiritual journey, best travelled in silence, surrounded by the beauty of nature of the Galilee and inspired by the words of the Gospel.
The spirit with which we should approach this journey is not one of religious tourism, not one of archaeological curiosity, but rather following in the footsteps of Christ and of his gospel, incarnating them in our life.
The Gospel Trail is the fruit of 2 years of work and of a historical and geographical reconstruction based on the New Testament. Although it's impossible today to know exactly the paths that Jesus walked 2,000 years ago, there is a good chance that these are the roads and hills that he traveled when he lived in Galilee, and that this is the nature that surrounded him. It's a path that fulfills the desires of those who visit this land, says tour guide Yossi Granit.
You know, the first thing that a pilgrim when he comes to Israel, he says, I want to walk where Jesus walked. And what can be better when you bring him to a place that Jesus stood and you tell him about it and he sees it and what is all his reason to come? To reach the Spirit, to read the Bible differently when he comes back home.
The Gospel Trail is 65 kilometers long and at least 3 or 4 days are necessary to complete the journey from Nazareth to Capernaum. The pilgrims can decide to only travel a part of it, for example by spending the day between the paths of Magdala and Ginosa, and then finishing the journey with a boat ride on the Sea of Galilee, contemplating the beauty of the golden sunset.